What's up? What's up? Flying a kite. Yeah. Want to help? Okay, so it looks like we're live now. I pulled out my tripod. I started filming at the Caledonia Community Center, where the OPP have been staging their occupation of this town. Within about 4 minutes or so of me coming out here, I had two officers, one of them a sergeant, flank me on each side. This is the sergeant in this vehicle right here. He wants to get my ID, and he's giving me issues about my plate, which is covered, but not illegal. He said he's going to wait for me to get into my vehicle and start driving before, and then presumably either get my plate or ticket me for obscuring my plate. I'll just wait him out. And he's sitting here watching me film because he doesn't like me filming the cops. So it looks like this sergeant, which you may or may not be able to see, that's walking away towards the front of the building, ordered the other sergeant away, but they still have this watching me. This is actually not why I came here, although it seems to be a recurring theme that the minute I pull out a tripod and a camera, they start flanking me on all sides. So the vehicle with the back to me, that has a sergeant. I didn't catch his name. Doesn't matter. He started getting douchey towards me. I return the favor. I mirror people's attitudes. So I started giving him non-answers, like cops give non-answers. And then he asked me where the front of my plate is. That's my vehicle there. Both front and back plates have been obscured.
Hi.
Hello, hi. Good.
My name's Tracy. I'm with the Provincial Liaison Team.
Okay, you're on camera.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Just wondering if there's anything we can help out with today.
Not even a little bit.
Okay. Okay, you seem really upset.
I'm not.
No? Okay.
No.
So, silly question. What's going on today that brought you here that you're doing this?
Silly question. What brought you guys out here that requires you to have 25, 30 units?
These are just cruisers, and then obviously for vehicle maintenance and stuff, when they have to switch them back, that's why they have the extra cars.
So they're normally stationed here?
They have been for quite some time now, yeah.
For how long?
I can't give you the exact date on that, but it's been at least the last couple of weeks.
77 days?
Okay, obviously you know more than I do. So,
Probably.
okay.
All right. I mean, if this is a consensual conversation, I'm okay. I'm done with that. I'm not looking to engage anyone.
Okay, no problem. We just wasn't sure if there was something we could help you with.
Well, I'd like that officer in the cruiser with the tail pointed towards me to either apologize and or leave. He threatened to issue me a ticket as soon as I got in my vehicle and drove off.
Oh, okay. Where's your vehicle?
It's one of these vehicles over here somewhere. Doesn't matter where my vehicle is. I guess it's irrelevant, right? But if you want to have a conversation with him, it seems like...
I don't know what the conversation you guys had was.
Well,
I don't know what your issue
You
is.
feel free to talk to him just like you're able to talk to me.
Okay, sure enough. I'm
Yeah.
going to apologize. I didn't get your name.
I didn't give it, and I won't be.
All right, fair enough. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go and talk to him. Again, I don't know exactly what transpired,
Mhm.
but if I can try to help make things better, then I will.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, you didn't like the way he spoke to you, or?
Well, so he approached me, asked me why I'm filming. I'm not sure why he asked me. First of all, he asked me what I'm doing.
Okay.
I have a mic, I have a camera, right? So I guess it's a silly question to ask me what I'm doing. Maybe a more relevant question is why I'm doing it. He didn't ask that. I wouldn't have volunteered it regardless.
Okay.
When I started giving him non-answers, which cops always love, he then asked me why my plates weren't properly displayed.
Okay.
I told him, I don't know, maybe there's something defective with the plate. And he goes, all right, well, I'll just wait until you get in your vehicle and I will detain you or ticket you. Now I'm recording live to Facebook. So that video, the interaction that I had with Sergeant what's his name, that'll be shared later. So,
Okay.
and I mean, I already got OIPRD complaints stacked. So
Okay.
if he wants to,
You're good with complaints. You know how
I'm very familiar with how to interact with the OPP. So I mean, if he wants to ticket me, If he wants to use my filming and try to intimidate me to stop filming, I mean, that's something that justifies another complaint. I'd rather not go through the complaint process again.
Okay.
I'd rather him not collect $100,000 a year sitting in his cruiser talking about me on ways that they're going to ticket me in 5-10 minutes when I leave. I don't think that's a great resource, great use of tax resources to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cruisers sitting around talking about how they're going to nab me as soon as they get onto the roads.
Well, I can't comment on what you're talking about, obviously.
Not asking you in the comments.
I'm not sure who they are right now.
I'm editorializing. I don't need you to respond to that.
You can hopefully appreciate the concern that somebody might have about somebody here filming people, and sometimes that is used in intimidation against officers. You can appreciate
No, I can't. I think
day and age right now.
I think if they're 12 weeks, 18 weeks of training, they weren't taught escalation, use of force, self-defense. I mean, if this intimidates them, can you imagine if somebody actually had like a weapon, what that would do, how badly that would trigger them and cause them to go in some sort of shock? It's a camera.
Okay.
It's not a weapon. And I'm a journalist. I'm I'm gathering content for a story.
Okay.
I've been here now for about 3 or 4 weeks,
Okay.
off and on. Every time I come out here to film a segment, same happens. If they want to watch me, like this guy is sitting in his SUV over there. If he wants to sit there and watch me, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
If he wants to come over and ask me what I'm doing or why, I don't like it, but I don't give a shit.
Okay.
When he says, all right, I'll give you a ticket as soon as you get in your car, that's when I start to give a shit.
Okay.
And if you're picking up a little bit of an attitude right now, it's because Mr. Sergeant No Name doesn't have any de-escalation skills.
Okay.
Doesn't know how to deal with people.
Okay.
I'm tired of contempt of cop charges being applied to the media, whether it's mainstream legacy media or whether it's independent media. He thinks he can dictate when and where and how the story is told. And that's what you're trying to suggest. That this camera is scaring a sergeant who's probably been on the force for 20 years or more. This camera's scaring him? I don't think so.
No worry. Film, do like.
Well, I'm don't worry. I've been doing this job probably as long as he's been doing that job, so I know where I'm allowed to be. So, I mean, the way you approach me, you guys should be the ones who come out here and approach people, not Sergeant No Name. Just let me do my story, and then you guys don't become the story. You guys were not part of the story, or at least you were a secondary player in the story. I was just going to be talking about that they're still here, that there are more vehicles here than there were last week, and it seems you're scaling up, and this has me worried. This has people that I work for and work with worried.
Okay.
And now I get this guy telling me he's going to ticket me. I'm not worried about Sergeant No Name.
Fair enough.
But what if someone out here who was younger, less experienced, or was triggered by cops, or had a negative experience with cops, is filming, and all of a sudden they think they're committing some sort of crime, and they turn over their ID, or they're whisked off, they're pushed off this property because he's giving unlawful commands.
Would it be helpful for? Would you like a contact number so that you can contact PLT if you're going to be?
No. Because I don't want you guys to change your behaviors depending on whether you know I'm going to be here or not.
No, that's not it at all. It's just if it would help you. To
Oh no! If
being here, then
if I was if I needed a comment from the media, I forget his name now. But if I needed to speak to the media person for this area, I have his email. I'd fire him off an email. I look for an official comment either on camera or by email.
Okay.
Not looking for his spin.
Okay.
I'm just, you guys are creating the content for me. I mean, I just literally put on my camera and my mic, and I set up the tripod, and I was flanked on literally both sides by 2 units. They both rolled up in opposite directions. They timed it like it was the Cirque du Soleil. And I mean, like, optically that doesn't look good. Well, when he asked me what I was doing, I told him I was flying a kite. So I mean, right?
So probably mirrors how people talk to him too.
Oh no, yeah, probably, and I wouldn't fault him for that because I mean, I
We'll
I do the same.
Not here because
What rank are you guys, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm just a constable.
I mean, how do you have better soft skills than this guy?
Well,
Right, I'm not asking you. First of all, he's not identified, so we can trash him all we want because we don't know who he is. I'm just calling him Sergeant No Name. But how do you have better coping skills than Sergeant No Name? But then, you know what though? Like, for example, let's say this person. I'll assume that he's watching for you guys. But let's say he wasn't. Let's say
Not looking at any of us.
no, he's doing reports or something or Facebooking. I don't know. But he's probably watching this on Facebook. But let's say, you know, you guys weren't out here. He was just watching me. You know, he's, by the way, I've had no interaction with him, so I have no issue with him. But let's say he saw me. He's just doing what he's doing now, just watching me. I mean, that's fine. You know, that's no issues, right? But if he's genuinely worried and he doesn't have, like, the soft skills to deal with human beings, then he just radios in and sends you guys out. Do the same process that somebody else clearly did to get you guys to come out here, right? That's the first interaction that should have taken place. That's what they should just reach out to you guys, right? And then just say, you know, there's a weirdo with a camera filming us, and it's pretty scary. I mean, it's almost Halloween. What's going on? And send you guys out, right? And then have someone watch for your protection if you're unarmed, right? So,
Yep, I
right?
absolutely will completely do that.
Now, what I want, I'm, because trust me, I can wait out. If you grew up with the type of brother I did, you learn how to outwait people.
okay.
So I guarantee I will be here longer than he will be on shift, if that's what it takes.
Okay.
I mean, he could be starting a shift right now. I will sit here for 10 hours waiting for him to eventually punch out.
Okay.
So he's not getting my plate. He's not getting my ID. I mean, you know, so there's no point for the 3 now. There's only 3, but there's no point for those 3 units to be sitting there, even if only one is waiting for me.
Please don't think that just because people are here is because of you. There were people here before you. There will be people here after you.
I recognize that. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
be fair.
Okay, guys, I hope you can hear me now. I was over at Canadian Tire on Argyle Street filming the blockade, both the OPP and the Land Defenders blockade, and I noticed the drone, and I actually followed it back to the community center here in Caledonia, the Haldimand County Community Center, and I'm just waiting for it to land. Again, it's being operated by some folks over here in the unmarked OPP vehicle. Sorry, I can't zoom right now. But yeah, it's being operated by those folks. You can see the drone box right down there. That's where the hardware goes. It's been hovering for about 15-20 minutes now, so I suspect it'll have to come down. This is the OPP drone, one of them. They deploy more than just one. Okay, and that's its home. That's its home. Now, since I showed up, there was originally just 2 vehicles, this vehicle and that one, but a whole bunch of other vehicles have showed up since my arrival. I guess they don't like me gathering intelligence on them, but they don't mind getting intelligence on us. I guess you're here for me. Hi. I appreciate that. Just to let you know, you're on live. You're a popular person. I don't know if you caught the video. It few 100,000 people watched.
Wow.
Yeah, and the incident that happened before, likewise, a few 100,000 people watched.
What incident was that?
Where the police officer asked me what I was doing. I told him I was flying a kite. I don't like people behind me.
Yeah, no.
OPSEC, right? What's up?
No, I heard you in the area, so I thought I'd come out.
I appreciate it. I'm great, yeah. I'm just watching you guys watch us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, all right.
Yeah.
Anything you need help with or anything?
I mean, if you can give me some details about the drone, the make and the model, that'd be great. Yeah. They're not going to give me an interview, so I know I'm not going to get it out of them. So I thought I'd get it from wherever I can. Anyway, I got a couple of high-res images with my other cameras, so I'll be able to figure out in a couple hours. I don't mind them watching me to make sure that I don't damage or steal their property. It's just when people like Sergeant Britton tried to compel my ID unlawfully, acting outside the scope of his authority. That's when I have issues. But someone from the PLT, I can't remember his name now, I have it written down at home. He reached out to me the next day, and I believe we dealt with it. I filed an OIPRD complaint about that incident. So, no, I didn't file a complaint about that sergeant because there was insufficient information. Nobody gave me his name, and I'm not going to file a complaint on a no-name because, I mean, I don't expect the OIPRD to give me any kind of satisfaction anyway, but if I file a complaint against Sergeant No Name, I'm going to get less than 0, right? So I filed a complaint with Sergeant Britton 2-3 weeks ago, and I also filed a complaint the first time I was out here when I was chased by the two OPP vehicles. Now, is this, my viewers are going to ask, was this a distraction so that they could land the vehicle without me noticing?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. Well, I can't hear it now. Like, these headphones are in the boxes away, so they landed either on the other side or...
I am not a techie person.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
If you can let... I haven't had any interaction with him, but I'm afraid that as soon as you leave, he's going to interact with me. Just let him know I'm not here. I have no ill intent. I'm just... it's gone now. The drone is gone now, so I'm going to be leaving in a minute. I just don't want them to light me up because my plates are covered.
Okay.
Now, I understand what you're going to say next. If I'm on the highway, as defined by the HTA,
Right.
if they're covered, you're going to light me up, and that's fair enough. But in this parking lot, we've established it's private property that the public has access to. On private property, I'm not required to display number plates. Don't want them following me to a place where I remove the privacy screen so that they can light me up, you know.
I can't speak on
Sure.
other
Okay.
officers,
Yeah.
but I understand your concerns and I get it.
Okay. Yeah, but so you see how, like, my concern, I'm not like trying to be conspiratorial or, you know, whatever, but as soon as I'm afraid that they're just going to, because I do comply with the HTA, right? Like, I don't want to be a bad driver, right? And I certainly don't want my, yeah. So, but as soon as I'm done, I'm going to drive to a safe spot on this parking lot and remove my privacy screen. I just don't want them following me to that point. You see what I'm saying?
Here's the thing about the vehicle.
So are you going to follow me to another part of the parking lot? Okay. Okay, well, check one down right now. I don't. You said you haven't seen my videos, but Google my name or search it on Facebook. You'll see there are sergeants that act way outside the scope of their authority, and they're just hoping that people don't know their rights or don't necessarily assert their rights, right? So I'm just worried that because of my desire to comply with the HTA, that they're just going to follow me for me to remove my privacy screens, right? And then they're either going to take down my plate number then, or if I leave them on, they're justifiably going to light me up as soon as I hit a road, right? Public road. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, all right, well, I'm just going to get my car. I'm going to wait until these two are gone. He said he's going to leave me alone, so I'll take him at his word. He's given me no reason to necessarily distrust him or not believe him. So I'll get my car, wait till the smoke clears a little bit, and now that the drone is gone, I'm gone. Fair enough? Well, I mean, she can give you a little bit about it. I've been the target by specifically OPP over the last 2 months for my coverage of the project I'm working on. So do you want to give me your bank account information? No, right? Yes, but also, do you need to have my information? I know, but you guys aren't making it easy. If I walked over to those gentlemen that are now gone and asked them the details about the drone that they were just operating, They're not going to give me that information either. They bought those with tax dollars, right? Those are taxed. That drone was purchased by the Crown. I don't divulge everything I do. On private property? On the private property? I know. But let's just worry about where my car is right now, not where it might be tomorrow, right? All right, that's it. Yeah. Thank you, you too. I appreciate. Thank you. I do. I mean, if you just Google OPP Caledonia, I promise I'll be the first one that pops up. Thank you. Okay, guys. Sorry for that muted there for a second. I am going to cut out now, and I will switch over to just regular camera app video mode. But I'm sorry I didn't see your comments if anybody left any because I was too busy having a conversation. I will read through the comments and answer them later. Take care. Thanks for watching. Okay, I'm hoping that we're live. So I'm back. This is obviously live. This is today. I'm back at the community center in Caledonia, and I'm just capturing for evidentiary purposes the OPP violating the Canadian aviation regulations on the operation of drones, section 901.26. Drone operators, drone pilots must maintain a horizontal distance of 100 feet or 30 meters from bystanders on the ground. This drone is straight up. It's literally straight above me right now. That's not 30 meters horizontally from me. This drone has been hovering at this location for approximately 5 minutes. I did catch footage of it taking off, and since I arrived, they basically launched it as soon as they could. They launched it up in the air, and they put it into a hovering or a hold status. Now, as I said, this violates 901.26 of the Canadian aviation regulations on the operation of unmanned vehicles. So this is just one of, this is not the first time. For people that haven't watched my videos on the operation of drones by the OPP, this is a routine pattern, and I've amassed quite a bit of footage of them violating 901.11 subsection 1 of the aviation regulations and 901.46. And I've already linked to some of those on my Facebook page if you want clarification as to what those are, and on my Twitter page. Also, they're operating a drone in the vicinity of a fixed wing manned aircraft, which is also another regulation, another violation. So, I mean, this is just ridiculous. And on a separate note, for those trolls that are hate watching me right now, who keep complaining that by me obscuring my license plate or removing it or whatever they think I'm doing, and they say that, well, on this property I'm still required to maintain and display my license plate, I want to point out something that's pretty brilliant. For all those people that are fans of the OPP, of course, it's not letting me zoom in. Sorry. So, this license plate has not been properly maintained. 2 of the letters are basically gone. So, for people who say that I should just follow the rules and obey the Highway Traffic Act of Ontario, RSO 1991, well, this guy isn't. I wonder how many people are going to do some mental gymnastics to justify how the OPP don't have to maintain their license plates But people who report on this story are routinely harassed for petty violations or perceived violations of the Highway Traffic Act. It's still violating the Canadian aviation regulations, but neither one of these drone pilots have been properly trained. So they're not familiar with the regulation. Now, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So when I forward this on to Transportation Canada, and they say, well, we didn't know the rules, we were not properly trained, they just gave us a debit card and told us to go buy some new toys. Well, ignorance is no excuse, right? Gentlemen, do you realize you're violating the Canadian aviation regulations? 901.26. No comment because they're not sure what 901.26 is. Again, because they've never read the regulations regarding the operation of drones. And it's ironic too because they're endangering the same fixed wing aircraft that they're also using to spy on Six Nations of the Grand River and the land defenders at 1492. So they have their helicopters and fixed wing in the air doing surveillance, and they're using the DJI Matrice 300 RTK drone, and they're putting their pilots and people on the ground in danger. So that's 3 constables at a tune of probably $150,000 a year in salary or more, not including benefits packages, operating this one drone so that they can violate the airspace of the Six Nations of the Grand River and collect intel on land defenders. They're violating a number of rules, including 901.46, which means they cannot fly or operate a drone in the vicinity of a public event, which, again, they don't know the rules, so of course they're going to violate them. This is the other OPP surveillance vehicle, and you'll see it's operating. So they have 2 vehicles operating, running, just blowing through gas while they play pretend pilot with a $10,000 US drone. That drone costs $10,000 USD, not including additional batteries. That does include the payload, the optics payload. This is an expensive hobby for the taxpayers of Ontario. I mean, there's something they could probably do on their own time, right? They could probably join one of those hobbyist aircraft communities if they wanted to play pilot. There are people that couldn't quite do the math and become pilots, so that this is what they do. Join the OPP and fly drones, endanger. So some people also are under the misimpression that this is a police station. While I get that this does look like a police station because there are over 35 police vehicles here, this is not a police station. That building right there is a library and a rink, an ice rink. And their operation of this drone endangers the dozens of people, dozens of families that come here every day to either use the library, which is still open, or the ice rink, where they have lacrosse and hockey. Both these vehicles are currently running on petrol. So you have these vehicles sitting there idling. You have one drone up in the sky. At least it's not violating the airspace of Six Nations, and it's not pissing off land defenders. But I want to remind everyone, these pilots are contravening the Canadian aviation regulations 901.26, whereby they have to maintain a distance horizontally of 100 feet or 30 meters. This vehicle is literally straight above me. So that's not I mean, if it lost power, it would fall straight down and land right on my head. Yes, okay, perfect. Hi, I would like you guys to contact the RCMP for me. This drone is currently violating the CAR 901.26. So the OPP aren't tasked to police the CAR, so I need you guys to reach out to the RCMP and have someone. So you are you guys refusing? That's violating the law. 901.26. Do you want me to show you? I have it on my phone. They're refusing to talk to me, so they don't know what they're doing. They have to maintain a distance of 30 meters or 100 feet from anyone on the ground.
And you're welcome to make such a thing to your attention.
So you guys aren't, well, and by the way, I'm not overly happy with, because either you or you gave the officers 2 or 3 weeks ago my contact information. When I just had hoped, I clearly indicated that I hoped you would not provide them with my information. So I'm not really happy about that. I thought we had a nice, healthy dialogue the 2 times we spoke. Well, after that contact, with that sergeant that was standing right here, sorry, a constable. I apologize. He was a constable. After you left, and I'd indicated to you that I hope he doesn't follow me, and he said he has no plans on following me, but he can't speak for the other officers. Well, he got into his vehicle that was parked right here. That constable that was standing here, he got into his vehicle. He pulled out, waited right here, waited for me for 20 minutes while I sat in my car. I pulled out, he started following me, and we did this ridiculous Tom and Jerry thing around this parking lot for about 15 minutes until I finally went into one of the little corners so I could watch them looking for me because I lost them momentarily. They pulled up, they gave me all my information, and the only way they could have done that is if they spoke to her or you. It doesn't take a Sherlock to figure out who I am, but they followed me. That constable lied, which I half expected, and they rolled up on me and they said who I was, and they couldn't have got it from my plates because my plates, as you know, are covered.
But you have to know who you are. You're very high profile.
Yes, but they got that within the 20 minutes that we were Tom and Jerrying it around the parking lot. They're not bright enough to figure out how to use Facebook that quick. But now they are directly contravening a federal regulation. Now, so because I have a drone, if I was to launch that drone from this location and to hover it over the women and children and the men that come in here to use the library or the ice rink, and I was violating 901.26, you guys would say, well, what can you do? So I just find it ironic that if it's a police organization that's breaking the rules, all the other agencies, whether they have jurisdiction or not, are just hands off. I think I mentioned this to you last time we spoke, but all the hassle they've given me about obscuring my license or not properly displaying it in accordance with the HTA, that B is completely gone.
That's the poor paint job, and you'll look at like 90% of the license plates.
I know, but I've had 2 sergeants and 3 or 4 constables come up and threaten me with my tinted windows and my privacy screens. I could point out seven SUVs here that have tinted windows that are as tinted as mine or more, and a poorly maintained number plate. That is your jurisdiction, is it not? Your OPP. You enforce provincial regulations.
I'm also aware that that's not someone deliberately did that. That's a false.
I recognize that, but the operator of the vehicle, whoever he or she is, or agency, has to surrender that plate and get a new one.
Okay, we're not going to go into that because that's not complicated.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure we have that, because then when they come out after me again for privacy screens,
Has anyone charged you?
because they don't have the cojones.
Okay, but
And to be honest, I welcome it. I don't mind this guy sitting in that car or whatever. If they want to come at me, I'll get it tossed in a pretrial conference. Do you see that just it's the harassment though. It's the harassment though, that they're coming at me all the time. And again, it's not harassment, it's consistent and persistent, which is the definition of harassment in Canada. Sergeant Britton was pissed because he knew who I was and he knew what I had done. So he approached me, all alpha male, in an attempt to intimidate me. Now I pushed back with equal force, and that backed him off a little bit. It's your brethren that are doing it, right? It's your brethren that are spying into vehicles and structures warrantlessly.
That's something beyond.
I already have complaints. Don't worry, I have complaints in, but I mean, it's just devastating that if I was doing the same thing, I guarantee they would be demanding to see my pilot certificate, which I can't get from them, but they would be demanding my pilot certificate, and they would be charging me with these violations. I guarantee next week when I have my drone launched from over here, they will demand, and then we'll just see what kind of response you guys give when one of these 20-something, 30-something year old officers get all fired up and want to harass me. They'll demand my pilot certificate, quote, a non-existent regulation requiring me to present it. You said that the OPP aren't tasked with enforcing the Canadian aviation regulations.
I don't know the law.
I know.
Who's tasked with what, but you said you wanted to speak to the RCC, and I said, feel free to get the law. Like
Yeah.
You're the one that read the law and said that's the law. I haven't read it, so I can't speak to it.
But I want them to come at me because I want them to violate the law, so that I can show them a hypocrisy of them violating laws by operating this drone unsafely, yet nobody here is willing to enforce it. But if I were operating the drone in the exact same way, suddenly I'm Al Capone and it's the crime of the century. Your license plate's obscured. That's a violation of the HTA. Words directly from a number of sergeants and a few constables. That's not good faith that I know the HTA.
I'm asking good faith based on their experience. The fact that they said,
You don't know them though, right? So you're just
I know
making
that
assumptions.
I do know that they have to have training to be a drone operator.
Yes, they have to have a license, and to get that license, they have to have training.
But they're specialized training, so.
I know, I recognize
And
that.
I've been through enough course.
I've except for you two, there's been never a measure of good faith given towards me or any member of the press, because they do approach me, they tell me it's a violation, and one of two things is happening. They're lying to me, they know it's not a violation, and they're legally allowed to, so they're thinking, what's the worst going to happen? File a complaint, it'll get tossed anyway by the OIPRD, which effectively do nothing. Or they actually don't know that it's not against the law. And then they're going to say, well, even though technically police officers in Canada don't have qualified immunity, they kind of do. So either way, I'm not given that same measure of good faith. Now you're saying it's because you know them as a unit or a team, and you've experienced what kind of training they might go through. But they don't come up to me and approach me kindly saying, I believe you're violating the HTA by obstructing your license plate. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you too long. I just wanted to get them violating 901.26 on camera. That was my goal today. And I mean, I wish I had a better telephoto, but anyway, I just wanted to catch them violating the CAR. That's what we did. I just wish they didn't endanger these kids so much.
What's up?
What's going on? Have a nice day, Sabrina.